Hey folks, this is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead. And this is what's left of, well, there's some bones left, but this is the head of my pig pork. Now, what I'm going to attempt to do is to make something called Porchetta Di Testa. Now, I say attempt because I've never done this before. I've made head cheese once and I didn't like it, so I'm going to try something else. I'm going to try this Porchetta Di Testa. Now, this is a laborious process, folks. I have to debone this head. And let's just start. I've saved you the more gory part, well, not gory, just pain in the butt part of blow torching and then shaving the head. Because if you remember from my processing video, we did not scald and dehair the pig. So I had to blowtorch all the hair off as much as I could. And then, as you see I'm doing right now, I took a 5-blade razor or several to it. Now, we're going to start this. Now, this is partially frozen. It's been in the freezer. And it's partially frozen because it's easier to cut when meat is partially frozen. And I'm just going to start by going right down along here. And, well, now the fact that it's frozen is actually making it easy to cut, but more difficult to get into here. And what we're going to try and do is we're just going to try and debone this. We want as much of the meat. Now, as you can see, this head is full of meat. And what we want to do is we just want to peel the skin off and keeping as much of the meat intact as possible. Now, the jowls of the pig are just another form of bacon, and we want those in our Porchetta Di Testa. What we essentially want is a pig mask. And even when I'm done, even if I get this as peeled as absolutely possible, there's still going to be a lot of meat on this head, and you can pop this in the oven and season it and roast it, and then, you know, make a broth, which is what I'm going to do with the leftover bones. God, he made it look so good. It looked so easy on the video. You want your snout intact. Because it's not really a Porchetta Di Testa unless you can see the snout. I think I'm doing pretty good, actually. Now, if this doesn't work, I can always do it with the next one, and I can go ahead and make head cheese out of this, because I do know somebody who would just love some head cheese. When I was cleaning the pig head, okay, of course you're going to clean out the ears. What I did was, because I got a thing about ears, man. So what I did was, is I filled the ear canal with baking soda. And then, let's just get the rest of this ear canal out of here. Then I poured vinegar in it. And it made that, you know, science fair kind of volcano effect, which was really cool because any dirt and wax in the ear came right out. I mean, yes, I had to wipe it out with a bit of rag. Hey, I'm half done. See, there's still a lot of meat. Like, I missed this jowl, and if I can get this out of here, I will just add it in. What I was going to say. I'm doing this because you don't have to be a chef. That's what my point. You don't necessarily have to be a chef to make something amazing out of what would normally be thrown away. And besides, a lot of my heritage is Scottish, and most Scottish food is based on a dare. Alright, we're getting close to that eye, and once again I missed the jowl. We just don't want to puncture that eye, even though it is frozen. Gotta watch the bridge of the nose, folks. I'm going to do my absolute best. I know I've cut the bridge of the nose a couple of times, but oh, finally. Now apparently this is a really difficult part. Could have fooled me that the rest wasn't difficult. Just getting the snout off in one piece. Almost there. Put my fingers out of the way. And yay! Here we have, let's hope we have, a pig mask. So there it is, folks. There's our pig mask. I'm going to put this in the sink to rinse. And then I'm going to try and get as much more meat off of this as I can. My mother would be so proud. When I was a little girl, I used to love head cheese. And one day, we had friends that had a farm out in the country. One day I came home from school, and we had one of those old refrigerators where the freezer was on the bottom. It was almost the whole lower half of the fridge. And my mother had a wicked sense of humor. I guess she was in her own way trying to teach me where food comes from. Anyway, she said, go in the freezer there and get me a loaf of bread. And when I opened the freezer, there was a gigantic pig head in there. Now, when I say gigantic, it probably couldn't have been any bigger than this one. But I tell you, to a 5-6-year-old kid, that looked huge. I'm going to get our herbs ready, our seasonings ready for our pig head, our Porchetta Di Testa. It's an Italian dish. We're just going to cut up some garlic and some rosemary, and we have our sea salt and our ground pepper. All we are shy of is lemon zest in the tongue. Let's get some of our rosemary out here. It's got a real piney scent, hey? Rosemary. Oh, it smells like Christmas. Why? You know what? I have never used fresh rosemary before now. Well, before this week. And I'm telling you, it's wonderful. I'm not a chef, folks. I'm just plain old Mrs. Wolfie. So, I mean, these are all new things to me. Let's get our salt going, because I don't want to sit here, and we're going to do about, I don't know, a teaspoon of salt maybe. Ground pepper. And this is, I love this pepper grinder, because when it comes to cooking stuff like this, it really gives you nice big flakes. I'm going to get Wolfie to saw through the jawbone here in a minute. And they didn't have any lemons at the store. So all they had was lime. So we're just going to wing this. And we're going to use some lime zest. I mean, why not? I think the only reason people don't use lime zest is because the skin is so thin that it's really difficult to get enough to do. Okay, folks, my battery's about to die. So here we have our rosemary, garlic, salt, pepper, and some lime zest. It's the only thing I changed because I couldn't get lemons. We have our tongue, and we have the bits of meat that I cut off. And I'm just going to put this seasoning all in here. Let's put the leftovers here in the bowl with the meat and the tongue. And let's hope that you just didn't see my husband walk by in his underwear. And we're just going to kind of toss this around in here and let all these seasonings permeate the meat. Alright, and then we're just going to let this sit overnight, and tomorrow we'll take it to the next step. Okay folks, it's not quite 6 a.m. here, and this is going to have to poach for 14 hours, so I want to get this done as quickly as possible. This has been sitting overnight. There's our tongue and our meat that we trimmed off, and here is our pig mask, meat side up. And we're going to take these ears and we're going to tuck them in under the eye sockets. We want to bring the tips through the holes if you can, just so that they'll stay in place when you're rolling. We're going to take our tongue and we're just going to tuck the butt end into the snout. Now we're just going to take our seasoned meat that we trimmed off and we're going to kind of just stuff it in here too. We want our seasonings. We don't want the juice, we just want the garlic and the rosemary and the lime zest. Now comes the really fun part, rolling this puppy up. But apparently now we should just be able to roll this. Ugh, there's my phone. Of course. When someone phones my house at 6 o'clock in the morning, it can only be my husband. Because everybody else knows the rule. You don't phone before 10 a.m. Now see all this garlic and stuff? We want to scatter that in there. Okay, I have an idea. Because I don't want everything pouring out here. I'm going to try and get this to sit up, and I'm just going to start tying this. I know it's supposed to be all rolled up nice and pretty, but stuff's falling out all over the place. It's not as easy as he made it look on the video, folks. Smells delicious. I'm going to tie a string around this to start the process, and then I'm going to just start tucking all this stuff in. Because it seems to be this is the only way I'm going to get things to stay in place, is to start with the string. Okay, there's one string. Another one over here. Okay, it's starting to come together here. I am not afraid to use too much string. Trust me. As far as I'm concerned, there is no such thing as too much string when it comes to holding a floppy piece of pork together. I'm telling you. This is quite the endeavor. I thought this was going to be the easy part. Turns out the boning of the head may have been the easy part. There we go. Nice and tight. Stuff together. Well, it ain't pretty. But, you think it's going to fit in this? Let's do try. Yay! It's in the bag. Alright. Now, seal meal bags are good up to 500 degrees for food. And being as I have no idea how else to do this, and I don't have the fancy machinery for poaching one of these, we're going to have to get inventive. There we go. See all the flecks of pepper and rosemary and garlic? It's going to be wonderful. Okay, we have my big canning pot, and we have a good rack in the bottom because we do not want this touching the bottom of the pan. And we're just going to put this in here, and we're going to cover it in cold water, put a lid on it, and we are going to poach this for 14 hours. Now we don't want the water to get it to boiling. We just want it to get to that point just before boiling, about 190 degrees. I had Howie cut it in half because of that. But that, my friends, is a Porchetta Di Testa, and I couldn't be prouder, as if I was a grandmother. Porchetta Di Testa. I did it. I'm proud.